Today I am making family shortbread cookies for Christmas. The beauty of these is that it only takes 3 ingredients and you can make them at least a month ahead. And the recipe came from my godmother. So the 3 ingredients are flour, icing sugar, and a huge pound of butter. So first what we're going to do is throw the 3½ to 3 3/4 cups of flour into your bowl. And then you're going to put your cup of icing sugar, and then I'm going to start putting the butter in. I like to cut it into smaller bits because then it's easier to mix. And it's a lot of butter, but it is what makes these cookies so delicious. So this is all you do until it becomes dough. And as I said, if you have young children at home, stick an apron on them and they'll be very happy to play with the dough for you until it becomes the consistency that it should be. I make these every year at the end of November, and I put them in a cookie tin and I seal it, because if you don't seal it, they disappear, funnily enough. So I seal them and I put them down in my cool basement, and they sit there until Christmas. And the longer they sit, the more delicious they become. And if you find that you need to add something more, if you taste the dough and you want it a little bit more sweet, or you want it a little bit more flour, you can always add some. It's one of those recipes that just do it as you go along. Now that you've created this wonderful dough, you can see how it looks, the consistency. It's a bit plasticine-like, so you can imagine how much fun that is to play with. You take just a little spoonful like you would any cookie, and you put it on your cookie sheet like this. And again, you can involve your kids, because this is Christmas and it's fun to get everybody involved. And you just put little blobs like this on your cookie sheet. You do not need to grease your cookie sheet, because if you remember, there's already a pound of butter in these cookies, and they will slide off very easily. Now, if you wanted to add a little bit of something to these cookies, and I like them plain, but you can always go and you can get Christmas colored sprinkles, the green and the red ones. Or you can take those candied fruit and cut them into little pieces and maybe put a piece on top. But as I said, I think these are just so delicious on their own. I like to leave them plain. So we're almost on a full cookie sheet here. And then we will get the fork and start working the little design. There we go. So then you take the fork, and I joke because they're such waspy cookies. I like to use a sterling silver fork. Not necessary, of course, but I think it's sort of fun. So then you just put a nice little design in them like that. I try to make them a little bit round, and you shape it like that. Then you'll see they look pretty when they come out of the oven. So there you go. Now we're going to take these and put them in a 350 oven for 20 minutes. And you don't want them to be golden brown. You just want them to be this nice white color that is just about to turn beige, if that makes sense. There's a little something you can do to prepare the cookie tin that you're going to store the cookies in for a month. What I do is I take a piece of wax paper, a big enough piece that fits over and with a bit of an edge to it of the tin. I fold it in half. Then I fold it in half again, like this. And once I have created this rectangle, I take the point and I just keep folding it into triangles, like this, until the triangles get to be quite small, like that. And then what you do is you find the center point of your cookie tin, and that is where you're going to cut your wax paper, like this. And then what that does for you is it creates a lovely, perfect round that fits right into your cookie tin, like that. So you don't need to get a pencil out and worry about going around and cutting around and doing it all like that. It just works perfectly like this. So what I do is I put one in the bottom, and then I make a few of them so that I can put a layer of cookies in and put a piece of paper on top, and then another layer, and so on and so forth until you get to the top. Then I cover it with this again, and I put the top on. And as I mentioned earlier, keep little fingers out, you seal it with some nice tape. So as you can see, the cookies have baked very nicely, and this would be the best looking one because it's still white with just a little tiny bit of brown around the edges. And so once they've cooled a little bit on the cookie sheet, you can see how easy it is to take them off. You really don't even need this spatula. But so you'll put them on the cooling rack until they're absolutely cold, because if you don't, they might just break when you put them in the tin. Then, as I said, once they're cooled, we'll put them in the tin, layer them between the wax paper, close up the tin and seal it up, and you're good to go for at least a month in the tin, and then serve them at your Christmas party. And enjoy!